ITV is a commercial TV network in the United Kingdom. Launched in 1955 as independent television under the auspices of the Independent Television Authority to provide competition to the BBC, it is also the oldest commercial network in the UK. Since the passing of the Broadcasting Act 1990, its legal name has been Channel 3, to distinguish it from the other analogue channels at the time, namely BBC One, BBC Two and Channel 4. In part, the number 3 was assigned as television sets would usually be tuned so that the regional ITV station would be on the third button, with the other stations being allocated to the number within their name. ITV is a network of television channels that operate regional television services as well as sharing programs between each other to be displayed on the entire network. In recent years, several of these companies have merged, so currently the 15 franchises are in the hands of 3 companies. The ITV network is to be distinguished from ITV plc, the company that resulted from the merger of Granada plc and Carlton Communications in 2004 and which holds the Channel 3 broadcasting licences in England, Wales, southern Scotland, the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands. Similarly, the ITV brand is the brand used by ITV plc for the Channel 3 service in these areas. Of the companies external to ITV plc, STV and UTV use their own brands in their own respective areas. History. The origins of ITV lie in the passing of the Television Act 1954, designed to break the monopoly on television held by the BBC television service. To prevent any commercial network reverting to the vulgar nature of US commercial networks at the time, the Act created the Independent Television Authority to heavily regulate the industry and to award franchises. The first 6 franchises were awarded in 1954 for London, the Midlands and the North of England, with separate franchises for weekdays and weekends. The first ITV network to launch was London's Associated Rediffusion on September 22, 1955, with the Midlands and North services launching in February 1956 and May 1956 respectively. Following these launches, the ITA awarded more franchises until the whole country was covered by a regional station, totaling 14, with all stations launched by 1962. The network has been modified several times through franchise reviews that have taken place in 1963, 1967, 1974, 1980 and 1991, during which broadcast regions have changed and service operators have been replaced. Only one service operator has ever been declared bankrupt, WWN in 1963, with all other operators leaving the network as a result of a franchise review. Weekend services were removed, with the exception of London, in 1964, and over the years more services were added, including a teletext service and a national breakfast franchise, operating between 6:00 and 9:25 a.m., in 1983. The Broadcasting Act 1990 changed the nature of ITV. The then regulator, the IBA, was replaced with a light-touch regulator, the ITC. Companies now able to purchase other ITV regional companies and franchises were now being awarded based upon a highest bidder auction, with few safeguards in place. This heavily criticised part of the review saw 4 operators replaced and the operators facing different annual payments to the Treasury. Central Television, for example, only paid £2,000, despite holding a lucrative and large region because they were unopposed, while Yorkshire Television paid £37.7 million for a region of the same size and status due to heavy competition. Following the 1993 changes, ITV as a network began to consolidate, with several companies doing so to save money by ceasing the duplication of services present when they were all separate companies. By 2004, ITV was owned by 5 companies, of which 2, Carlton and Granada, had become major players by owning between the 2 all the franchises in England, Wales, the Scottish Borders and the Isle of Man. That same year, the 2 merged to form ITV plc, with the only subsequent acquisition being the takeover of Channel Television, the Channel Islands franchise, in 2011. Organisation. The ITV network is not owned or operated by one company, but rather by a series of licensees that provide a regional service while also broadcasting programs across the network. Since 2011 the 15 licenses are held by 3 companies, with the majority held by ITV Broadcasting Limited, part of ITV plc. The network is regulated by the media regulator Ofcom, who is responsible for awarding the broadcast licenses. The last major review of the Channel 3 franchises was in 1991, with all operators' licenses having been renewed between 1999 and 2002 and again from 2014 without a further contest. While this has been the longest period that the ITV network has gone without a major review of its license holders, Ofcom announced that it would split the Wales and West licence from January 1, 2014, creating a national licence for Wales and joining the newly separated West Region to West Country, to form a new licence for the enlarged South West of England region. All companies holding a licence were part of the non-profit body ITV Network Limited, which commissioned and scheduled network programming, with compliance previously handled by ITV plc and Channel Television. However, due to amalgamation of several of these companies since the creation of ITV Network Limited, it has been replaced by an affiliation system. Approved by Ofcom, this results in ITV plc commissioning and funding the network schedule, with STV and UTV paying a fee to broadcast it. All licensees have the right to opt out of network programming, however many do not due to pressures from the parent company or because of limited resources. Prior to the affiliate system being introduced, STV would frequently opt out of several popular network programs such as the original run of the first series of Downton Abbey citing the need to provide more Scottish content to its viewers. As a public service broadcaster, the ITV network is obliged to broadcast programming of public importance, including news, current affairs, children's and religious programming as well as party election broadcasts on behalf of the major political parties and political events, such as the budget. The network also needs to produce accessible output containing subtitles, signing and audio description. In exchange for this programming, the ITV network is available on all platforms free to air and can be found at the top of the EPG of all providers. Since the launch of the platform in 1998, all of the ITV licensees have received gifted capacity on the digital terrestrial television platform. At present, the companies are able to broadcast additional channels and all choose to broadcast the ITV plc-owned ITV2, ITV3, ITV4 and CITV in their region. UTV and STV previously broadcast their own services UTV2 in Northern Ireland and S2 in Central and Northern Scotland until 2002, when they adopted the ITV plc channels. The broadcasters all make use of the digital 3 and 4 multiplex, shared with Channel 4. ITV Encore launched on June 2014 and ITV BE launched on October 2014. ITV plc. ITV plc owns 12 of the 15 franchises and broadcasts to England, Wales, Southern Scotland, the Isle of Man and the Channel Islands through its subsidiary companies ITV Broadcasting Limited and Channel Television Limited. The company also owns the breakfast contractor that broadcasts across the network between 6:00 and 9:25 a.m. each morning using the Good Morning Britain and Lorraine names. The company broadcasts a centralised service under the ITV brand. ITV Wales also adds Wales to some of its presentation. The group also owns ITV Studios, the production arm of the company informed from an amalgamation of all the production departments of the regional licenses they own. The company produces a large proportion of ITV's networked programming, with the rest coming primarily from independent suppliers. ITV plc hope to increase the amount of in-house programming to as close to the 75% limit as possible. The group has recently cut the number of regional news programs offered from 17 in 2007 to 9 by 2009, resulting several regions being merged to form one program, including the Border and Tyne Tees regions, the West Country and West regions and the removal of sub-regional programming, with some regions only represented by pre-recorded segments. STV Group. STV Group plc owns 2 franchises, covering Central and Northern Scotland, through subsidiary companies STV Central and STV North, broadcasting a central service under the STV brand. The company has had several disputes with ITV plc in recent years over network programming. STV aims to broadcast more Scottish programmes at peak times and so removed several key ITV plc programmes from their schedule in July 2009, including The Bill, Midsummer Murders and Lewis. Despite STV's explanation of expense, ITV plc were angered by the decision, as a recent schedule change had made The Bill central to their programming, and broadcast the programmes on ITV3 as well to ensure Scottish viewers could see the programmes. On September 23, ITV was reported to be in the process of suing STV for £20 million, as ITV plc felt dropping the shows constituted a breach of network agreements. STV subsequently countersued ITV plc for £35 million. The dispute was ended in 2011 with STV agreeing to pay ITV plc £18 million. The signing of the new affiliation deal has resulted in STV paying a flat fee for all networked programming, and so to drop any programs is unlikely due to the large costs involved. UTV Media UTV Media plc owns the Northern Ireland franchise and broadcasts a regional service, through subsidiary UTV Limited, under the UTV brand. The service broadcasts several regional programmes for the benefit of their audience and is also widely available in the Republic of Ireland. UTV Media plc operates several other media ventures, including a Plan Irish channel to launch in 2015 and the sports radio station TalkSport. Current licensees. There are 14 regional licenses and one national license for the breakfast service. Other licenses exist to provide specific programming services, such as teletext and national news, but are not listed here. All licenses listed here were renewed until the end of 2014. Licenses in England and Wales were held by the individual regional ITV plc-owned companies prior to November 2008. Programming. For over 50 years of ITV, the homegrown programs have become the best loved and remembered as well as being extremely successful. Before the 1990s, nearly all of the content for the channel was produced by the 15 franchise licensees, the regional companies. However, in the last decade, and following legislation in the Broadcasting Act 1990 imposing a 25% quota for commissioning of independent productions, the number of programs from independent production companies not connected to the traditional ITV network has increased rapidly. Notable examples include Talkback Thames, producers of The Bill and co-producers of The X Factor, and Two-Way Traffic, producers of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? From the late 1990s, ITV's long-standing commitment to strong current affairs and documentary programming began to diminish with the ending of productions such as World in Action, This Week, First Tuesday, Network First, Survival, and Weekend World and their replacement with populist shows such as Tonight. News at 10 was also axed in 1999, although it was reinstated in 2008. In December 2009, the final edition of ITV's long-running arts programme, The Southbank Show was broadcast. Increasingly ITV's primetime schedules are dominated by its soap operas, such as the flagship Coronation Street and Emmerdale. At the start of the 21st century, independent television faced criticism for including a large amount of reality TV programs in the schedule, such as Celebrity Fit Club, Celebrity Wrestling and Love Island. In its defense, ITV does continue to show its major strengths in the fields of sports coverage and drama productions, and it continues to schedule national news in prime time. ITV's strong daytime lineup helped by programs such as This Morning, Loose Women, Dickinson's Real Deal and game shows Tipping Point and The Chase are very popular, achieving the highest audience share during the daytime slot. National and international news. Since the network started, Independent Television News Limited has held the contract to produce news for the ITV network, with 30-minute national news bulletins broadcast at 1:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. These bulletins were broadcast under the ITN brand between 1955 and 1999, when a new network identity reinforced the ITV brand, resulting in the new bulletins being broadcast under the ITV News brand. ITN has long been respected in the news industry as a source of reliable information and news, and as a result the service has won many awards for their programs, the latest being in May 2011 when News at 10 was named Best News Program by the Royal Television Society and BAFTA. Regional news. The regional ITV companies are required to provide local news as part of their franchise agreement, with the main local bulletin at 6 p.m. and regional bulletins located after each national news program. In addition to this, traditionally ITV companies would provide other regional programming based on current affairs, entertainment or drama. However, apart from a monthly political program, most non-news regional programming in the English regions was dropped by ITV plc in 2009, although it continues in Wales and the Channel Islands, as well as on STV and UTV. On January 14, 2013, ITV plc regional news programmes titles were discontinued in favour of more generic branding, that is North East Tonight became ITV News Tinties. Weather. The ITV National Weather Forecast was first broadcast in 1989, using data supplied by the Met Office, and was presented by a number of weather forecasters. The forecasts are sponsored in which the sponsor's message, as of December 2012 7Cs or STV Health Centre, would appear prior to the forecast. The forecasts are made immediately after the main national news bulletins. Prior to the creation of the national forecast, regional forecast provided by each regional companies were shown in each region only. The regional forecasts today are incorporated into the main regional news bulletins, and in the ITV plc regions includes a pollen count. Sport. ITV covers many popular sports. The channel emphasises coverage of football, with the channel holding the UK terrestrial rights to the UEFA Champions League and with the channel sharing coverage of international football events such as the World Cup with the BBC. On March 30, 2007 the Football Association confirmed that it had agreed a new 4-year £425 million television deal for ITV and Setanta Sports to show FA Cup and England home international matches. The deal with the FA represented a 42% increase on the existing deal with BBC Sport and BSKYB. In May 2009, ITV acquired the rights to broadcast live cricket from the Indian Premier League. The network also covers motorsport, rugby, and other sports. Children's programming. The network broadcasts children's programming under the CITV strand. Children's programming was originally provided during weekday afternoons and weekend mornings, however following the launch of the CITV channel in 2006, all children's programming, with the exception of the weekend ITV breakfast slot, were relocated from the ITV lineup to the CITV channel in 2007, a move which was challenged by Ofcom in April 2007. Teletext Provider. The public teletext license allows the holder to broadcast a text-based information service around the clock on Channel 3 frequencies. Teletext on ITV was provided by Oracle from 1974 until 1993 and from 1993 to 2010 by Teletext Limited, whose news, sport and TV listings pages rivaled the BBC's offering, see fax on terrestrial and BBC Red Button on digital. Teletext Limited also provided digital teletext for the Channel 3 services, as well as the text output for both Channel 4 and S4C under the same license and Channel 5. However, the license was revoked by Ofcom on January 29, 2010 for failing to provide news and local non-news information on ITV, and there is currently no teletext license holder for ITV. Schools programming. Schools programming on the network began in 1957 in some regions and expanded as more regions began broadcasting. It is a contractual obligation for the ITV company to broadcast schools programming, and this was initially broadcast as part of the normal scheduling. The programs were moved into a segment for broadcast during the day in the 1960s, under the banner Independent Television for Schools and Colleges, and from 1987 were broadcast on Channel 4 in the ITV Schools on Channel 4 segment. In 1993, this segment became Channel 4 Schools and later in 2004 Learning. These strands of programming consisted of schools programming from all the ITV companies or from independent sources. The school's strand itself is now defunct, with no particular branding segment used. Availability outside the UK, ITV is widely available in the Republic of Ireland on cable and MMDS, as well as being received directly in areas bordering Northern Ireland, or in coastal areas from Wales. It is also available on cable and IPTV in Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Since March 27, 2013, it has been offered by British Forces Broadcasting Service to members of HM forces and their families around the world, replacing the BFBS3 TV channel, which already carried a selection of ITV programs. Criticism: since the launch of ITV, there have been concerns from politicians and the press that ITV faced a conflict concerning program audiences and advertisers. As advertisers are reluctant to buy advertising space around low viewing programs, there is a pressure on ITV to broadcast more popular programs in peak times. This has become more profound in recent years following a relaxation in regulation and significantly more competition in the advertising market following the huge increase in commercial channels. In recent years, programs have started to dominate from the reality television genre, including the celebrity and talent show subgenres. This has led to accusations of ITV dumbing down their programs and appealing to the lowest common denominator, accusations that are at odds with the network's status as a public service broadcaster. ITV was also heavily criticized for scaling back its regional programs, including regional news. Gallery. See also, List of television stations in the United Kingdom, List of ITV channels, List of television programs broadcast by ITV, List of ITV journalists and news readers. Notes: since 2013 all presentation has only carried the ITV name, however the name ITV Channel Television was previously used on screen. This is now restricted to voice announcements before regional programs. Up to 1968, the service for a single northern area consisting of both the current North West region and most of the current Yorkshire region was provided by Granada Television for Monday to Friday and by ABC Television for weekends. Coverage was transferred from ITV Border and Tyne Tees to ITV Granada following DSO in the Isle of Man in July 2009. Usually just ITV. Up to 1968. The service for the Midlands region was provided by ITV for Monday to Friday and by ABC Television for weekends. Anglia Television Limited, which had provided the service since 1959, had its name changed to ITV Broadcasting Limited on December 29, 2006. The current breakfast holder is Good Morning Britain, and Lorraine. Previous holders include Daybreak, GMTV, and TVAM. ITV plc purchased the remaining stake of GMTV from the Walt Disney Company in November 2009. References. External links: ITV.com, STV, UTV, Channel Television, Parent Companies, ITV plc, STV Group plc, UTV Media.